Don't always believe everything you hear or everything you read. I bought myself a new fuel pump today, and on the box it has instructions. It says, before you install this pump, have a BC fire extinguisher nearby, disconnect the negative battery cable, drain filter, store the fuel, disconnect electrical and fuel lines, support and lower tank, remove fuel pump, inspect, flush and dry fuel tank. That's all good if this was an electric fuel pump, which it's not, because this is an old school mechanical fuel pump. And if I would have done these instructions, I would have had to rip my whole entire tank off. This is where the mechanical fuel pump is located, in case anyone's never seen this old school stuff, you know, for you younger guys out there. Holy, who tightened that up last time besides me?
What you saying, you had more muscle in 2 weeks ago?
Probably. I didn't do this 2 weeks ago. I did it last time at Gopher Dooms. Now I'm just removing the 2 bolts that hold the fuel pump on. Okay, now I've got the 2 bolts out. I just simply pull the fuel pump up. Nice and simple. Now on a GM Chevy small block, they have a pin inside of there that activates your fuel pump. And you have to make sure you push that pin back up. They recommend that you put heavy grease on this shaft in order for it to stay up in place. I've tried that in the past and I've never had very much luck with it. But this plunger does have to stay up while you're installing the fuel pump. And I usually just push it up with the needle nose pliers. I insert a screwdriver behind it so that it stays in place. Next step is to install the gasket onto the fuel pump. And I prefer to use aviation glue. It sticks a lot better than silicone, and I find you get less leaks with this. It's a little harder, actually a lot harder to scrape off if you ever have to remove it, but I find it well worth it in the long run. This way, when you put your fuel pump back on, you have less chance of your gasket sliding out of place. This dries a lot tackier than silicone. Turn them into the gasket so that the gasket stays in place. The clamp is facing in a direction where I can get at it from the bottom, so I don't have to remove it here if I ever have to do this again. Now you'll notice that this fuel pump has 3 lines running off of it, and the old one only had 2. The reason why I got one with the extra line is because the gas tank has an extra vent, which I had no place for on that fuel pump, and I needed the extra line to hook it up to the vent on the fuel tank. Now it's time to... Okay, and here's the tricky part. You have to hold that plunger up with the rod and shove that plunger in place there, making sure that the rod is still above it, which it is. And get your bolt started so that it doesn't slip back out of place.
That's my sexy husband working on his 4x4.
Really? I take it you're videotaping this? Get out of my butt. Not. Oh. Yeah. Now you're going to feel some tension on that spring, on that plunger. And it's very important that you tighten these bolts evenly. You don't just tighten one and then tighten the other, because what you're going to end up doing is putting the plunger in there on an angle and maybe binding it up against the rod. Okay. Now I just have to replace my fuel lines, and I'm going to have to put my vent line onto the small one here, and in order to do that I'm going to have to route it all the way from the tank up to here for my vent, which isn't being used right now. Now we'll hook this one up from the bottom, and this one here I can tighten from the top. Alright. And you don't do what I just did.
What'd you just do?
Over tighten the clamps.
Uh-oh.
Oh, now I need to get another clamp. I got to test out my new cage that I built here for standing on. Should be nice and sturdy for towing. If we have to get towed, we can stand on here. And it works excellent for working on the truck because I didn't have anything to stand on before. Well, my fuel pump's all nice and shiny down there. It's in place. Lighting's not that good in here, but I'm just going to get the truck started now. Trailer. Go for Dunes, Sunday, June 28th.